Due to a popular comment from a viewer, I thought it would be a good idea to put out some people information. We will go through some history and tendencies of humans, natural and unnatural. If this is a subject you're interested in, then be sure to watch till the end. Also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep up on all my updates. So let's jump into it. How they find the age of fossils and artifacts. I should describe, for those who don't know beforehand, the way scientists find out how old something is to get an idea of when they died or when an artifact was made. The process they use is called carbon dating. They will search for the amount of an atom called carbon-14. As time goes on, the amount of carbon-14 will slowly reduce at a predictable rate. So they start with how much would be there at death and subtract that to find the age. Now this process only works for around 50,000 years of age. It is a somewhat reliable process. However, there are others that they can combine to get more accurate results and go back further. What the environment was like, the fossils in the area, what they ate, artifacts in the area, rocks, and plant life. They also use other processes like thermoluminescence and radioactive uranium and electron spin resonance for dating certain objects. The processes used are always evolving for better accuracy. History of humans and relatives. There has long been a debate over how long humans have been in existence. Some believe we've been here for only a few thousand years, while some think it's possible, after new evidence of possible handmade tools and burned mammal bones, that humans have been around for close to 300,000 years. Most of the science community generally agree that it all started for us around 200,000 years ago. Contrary to popular belief, this image of human evolution wasn't actually what it was representing. The image comes from a book called Early Man, written back in 1965 by anthropologist F. Clark Howell. This was a book bringing up the conversation of human evolution, but the book does warn against interpreting the illustration as a direct progression from one species to the next species. In this lineup, we have the Dryopithecus, Oreopithecus, Ramapithecus, Neanderthal, and finally humans. As they do treat others as relatives, they do research humans as their own category. Although it has been thought that humans may have had a few flings with Neanderthals, meaning a few of us may have some relation to them. What? For those who believe we've only been here for a few thousand years, even if you don't believe 200,000 years, the Göbekli Tepe was found to be more than 10,000 years old, and evidence from Anatolia showing even earlier signs of civilization, evidence of hunting and farming grains. Not as long ago, but with more notable evidence, is of course the Egyptians, dating back to the period of the Old Kingdom lasting from 2575 BC to 2130 BC, and before cities came together in 3100 BC. Meaning, they were here almost 5,000 years ago. So either way you want to look at it, we've been here for a while. Human inventions and weapons. Humans have created and figured out how to use different tools for a very long time, from the first time fire was created to Elon Musk creating a reusable rocket. The big thing on some minds, of course, is the weapons. As time goes on, they become more accurate, deadly, and easier to use. Starting at rocks, then spears, fire, bows and arrows, muskets, cannons, guns, explosives, and non-reusable rockets. Weapons have been used for many things, the uses spanning from hunting, defense, and attack, the first two being the primary use. Human behavior. There are a lot of good people out there, but there are a few that should never have been in a position of power. A short list of communist dictators that have caused the most deaths in history starts with Joseph Stalin and the Soviet Union. Stalin's reign lasted from 1929 to 1953. During this period, he had killed almost 9 million people. It was a stroke of bad luck for him that finally ended his leadership. Chiang Kai-shek was head of state in China from 1928 to 1949, when Mao took over after the Civil War. During his time as head of state, he had killed more than 10.5 million people. On to Adolf Hitler. The name a lot of people reference, but it seems some don't actually know how he got into power or how bad this guy actually was. His out-of-touch leadership of the Nazi regime lasted from 1933 to his possible suicide in 1945. Or as some think, him and his buddies took refuge in South America and lived happily ever after. Well, after taking the lives of 18.5 million people, because he thought the Jewish community and the opposers were all pests that needed to be eliminated. This was known as the Holocaust. Now we go back to Mao. Mao Zedong started leading communist forces in 1927, then in 1949 took power from Chiang Kai-shek, when he also implemented his own form of communism, called Maoism. taking different ideas of Marxism from other leaders like Lenin and Stalin. Before his death on September 9, 1976, he managed to cause the deaths of close to 31 million people. Those are some people that I would consider the most dangerous. When it comes to most lives saved, it is a lot more difficult. There isn't really a way to measure lives saved unless directly done so, like how many lives a doctor has saved. When comparing good people to evil people like I have listed, there's no real way to compare. With as much work as some people have done to cause death, there are many more who have worked towards saving lives. The amount of people saved by armies in World War II and medical science has exploded over the decades. Heart surgery has a much higher survivability rate. Snake bites and spider bites now have anti-venom to save you. Vaccines for smallpox and other diseases have been created. Even having a baby is much safer than it was 100 years ago. Cars are designed safer. We have smoke alarms and sprinkler systems to save you from burning alive. And yes, guns have also helped to save lives by good people. A human's natural tendency is to help, not hurt. Try and count how many lives are still around, and how many got to live full lives instead of becoming a statistic. So to say that humans are the most dangerous animal in the world would be a yes and a no. Out of a handful of horrible human beings that seek nothing but power and destruction, there are billions of good-hearted people. So for all the people who follow communism and think this country can do it, check out a few history books and do some research on outcomes of it. And know that no matter how many times it is tried, it is the most dangerous creature ever created. And also as a fun fact, male lions will eat their cubs if they believe they're not theirs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.